in the Adelaide Hills in Ashton at the time. That's where the bulk of my experiences occurred, funny enough, in South Australia. There's a lot going on there, mate. One of the main control centres of the planet. And I woke up, felt like about 2:30 a.m. I think. I didn't have a clock at the time, but it was about that. And my being said, turn on your tummy, right? And it's not a voice in my head, it's a knowing. So I turned over, I'm laying on my tummy. Next thing, I feel reality changing around me. There's a bit of a light, coming through the window. What's going on here? And my beings just stay calm, relax. I've got this. And I was lying on my tummy like this. Next thing, I could feel figures standing either side of my bed, not tall. And then I started lifting up off my bed. And I'm lying like this. And I'm totally held horizontal, right? Didn't feel any pressure of weight. My whole body just levitated up off the bed, right? I'm like that. And I slowly just opened an eye, and there was little guys standing either side of me. Now, what I'm about to explain is what these guys looked like. They weren't greys, okay? This is going to sound really strange, but this is I'm telling you, this is the beings. They didn't put a visual into my mind, so I saw them differently. Because when they do that, there's a bit of a tone of animation when someone puts a screen visual into your mind, so you see something different to what's actually there. There's a flavor of animation in the visual, okay? So this was full-blown reality I was looking at. And this little guy smiled at me. They were bald, looked a little bit like, they weren't grey. Their skin had like a velvet on it, and their colour was olive green. Yeah, and they were little people, but bald, like almost like greys, but not. Their eyes were different. Do you see how our eye sockets are elliptical? Right? Elliptical, right? Their eye sockets were round, but they had pupils like us. And when they smiled, they had lots of little teeth, probably twice as many as what we have in the mouth. Literally, they were little green men from the moon. You remember that old folk tale of little green men on the moon? Literally, that's what I experienced, okay? These are the worker guys. Anyway, he smiled at me, right? And he said, okay. He acknowledged me that I was awake, and then they turned me around, and I'm spinning, hovering over my bed, and now I'm heading towards the window, right? And I feel the buzz go through my body, right? And then I'm halfway through the window, and I'm looking down here, and I could see the little, if I can explain it this way, I could see this little blue light all around me where the glass was around my body. And my body is through the glass, yeah? And then I'm looked at that, and I looked at the guy, and because I was looking at that, my awareness shifted, and they're monitoring my awareness, right? And the little guy is looking at me, and he smiled at me, and he goes like this, a whole Jedi wave, and I was out. I don't remember getting on the craft and going to the moon. Next thing I know, I'm on the moon, and it's fully known I was on the moon. It wasn't a base, a dumb base or anything. And I'm on the table, and the room was shaped, wall behind me. This wall went all the way down into a long corridor. That became a long corridor. And this wall was straight, but then it went angled, met with that wall, and then it was this really long corridor. And I could see down there, and it was about, I would say, 10 meters long, that corridor, which went to a door, and then there was a walkway, and I could see more of them and taller beings walking across like a busy walkway. These beings, I wake up, I sit up on the table, and they completely freaked out. I'm hit with all this energy, and I'm just sitting there looking around, and I could feel, because my being protected me from within, yeah, and I could feel the technology hitting me because they're trying to knock me out in a really, really substantial way. And they ran, these little guys, because I'm not meant to be awake, I'm not meant to be cognitive. They didn't know what was happening. They panicked and they all ran. Then I got off the table, and I'm looking at that side wall there, and my awareness went straight to the head guy of the moon. right? And I'm being literally hit with all this energy to try and take me out. But that field of energy that came out of me, protecting me, they couldn't penetrate it. And I was in the state of grace, total state of grace. Then I started heading for this being. And I'm just walking, and the walls, by the way, are grown in the moon, right? Whenever you hear about concrete structures and things inside them, that's not true. They're grown, yeah? And it's an intelligent crystalline type of structure that's programmable, or it's actually conscious relationship. Anyway, I was just walking through these walls, just straight through them. Because when you're one with creation, you can completely phase out it's phasing out the spin, the rate of the spin of your atoms, right? Determines the vibration of the molecule. And the vibration of the molecule determines the density. The rate of vibration of the molecule is what determines the density of the matter. So when you shift your spin, you shift your vibration, and you know what the frequency vibration of that membrane wall is, that living thing, whether it's a stone wall or whatever, and you phase out, you can walk straight through it. Yeah, so I know how to do it. I just can't. I'm not allowed to do it, is probably the better way to say it right now in this world. I can't do it because it'll just create too much of a shockwave through the realm if someone starts operating like that. So I started walking through the walls, and then all that technology that was coming at me fell away, totally fell away. And then it was boom, I got hit with this the head guy running, who was in charge of operations on the moon. It's one-on-one now. He was on to me. And I paused, and I just really felt his energy, and I just kept coming. I just kept coming at him and kept coming, and he was throwing everything he could. And I walked through wall after wall after wall, and I finally got to him. And then there was one wall left between me, and he was standing on the other side. And the wall was translucent, and I could just see his kind of murky figure on the other side. And I said to him telepathically, I said, okay, so, because you could see he was pretty much defeated. He had nothing left. And I said to him, I'm about to walk through that wall. Yeah. And I'm not here to harm you. And he had nothing left. So I just walked through the wall, and he stood before me. And he was, at the time in 2006, he was like the head Draco of Imperial Draco, that more malevolent Imperial Draco side. And what he looked like, Michael, was really interesting. He looked very much like the Wraith in Stargate Atlantis. Very, very similar to that, with the long blonde hair, real bony sort of facial structures, and long black gown, overcoat type of thing. And I said to him, the words I uttered was, "Now do you understand?" And he said, yes. And what I meant by that was, when we, as Homo luminous, when we switch on to our capacity, our full capacity, even partial capacity, there's nothing that you've got that can stop us. You've got no technology, and you have no capability, inherent capability in you, to stop us and prevent us from evolving into what we are naturally. An intention, the original intention of what we as a species was designed, along with our planetary mother, the original intention of the creation of the realm and the formation of what we call the human species. You've got no chance when we switch on, because of inherently who and what we are and what we're capable of. And then I walked up to him, and he was totally slumped and defeated. I hugged him. I opened up my heart soul essence, connected to his soul, and I opened him up from the inside and took him back through his from the moment he entered the universe, and reminded him of everything that he is, everything that he's seen and everything done and everything that he's been in this universe. That destroyed him, because it totally broke open the mind control of the dark, evil Draco Empire is operating inside. Now that sent an absolute shockwave through the structure of empire, because here you have a human on Earth, gets taken to the moon for another reason, switches on and takes out the head guy, the head Draco of the moon. And anyone who wants to remote view that, I welcome any line of inquiry. That is a absolute actuality, an occurrence that took place in this universe. I say it with all conviction. Yeah, this is not me showing off or trying to be some sort of tough guy. Absolutely not. I'm reluctant to share it. But that, because I'm reluctant to... Anyway, sorry, Michael, it's a big energy. Because now me saying it, Empire's now through the ethers, they're coming at me.
well, thank you for sharing that. I think it is very helpful, and you know, I've heard of that before. I mean, I've heard of that kind of presence before. I've heard it with great Indian gurus that have that ability. You know, I remember hearing a story. I think it was Sri Aurobindo when he went to meet a very powerful black magician in Indian Hindu society, that this black magician was someone that was feared, but yet in the presence of this great Indian saint, you know, he just ran away. He couldn't handle it. So I totally believe that what you described is possible, and that there are a few individuals like yourself that can connect to this universal source energy and transmit it in a way that these dark energies or these dark beings, that they run from. So this happened in 2006, but yet, of course, and you said it sent shockwaves through the Draco Empire, and so they realized that there was one human, at least one. You know, we can debate how many more there are, but you know, there's one, or maybe a small number that can do this.
Everyone can do it. Everyone has the potential.
Well, this is the key point then. So that happened in 2006, but yet our planet is still totally screwed up. I mean, we are lied to, manipulated. I mean, wars are contrived. People live in poverty. People give their power away. So even though, you know, there are a few that realize their power and are able to do this, and that, as you say, all have the capacity to do this, the truth is that the vast majority of humanity give their power away willingly. They consent to the evil that is happening, the dark cabal. You know, they present their agendas in your face, like these Olympic Games. They presented their agenda in the face, and people give their consent. They give their power away, and it's so. You know, given that, now the question is, well, you know, on the one hand, there's a spiritual war, and I think what you described could be part of that spiritual war. Is there also a kind of technological war where you have these, like these cedar races or these more highly evolved races saying, okay, you know, the humans need a little bit of help, so we'll show up, or maybe they're ready to progress into this, what do you call it, Homo luminous? So, okay, so this is what I'm kind of like going back to that original question. In, you know, around 2001, was there an arrival of a highly evolved group of cedar races to help us manifest this kind of like higher consciousness that you're describing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I applaud you for your diplomacy.